We are the sole witness to our own story, whether it be a wife, sister, partner, parent, or friend. They are but just a part, a paragraph here and there in the chapters of our lives. Our short time on earth is made up of thousands of moments, interactions, decisions, and consequences that become the story of us. And this is Liv Jones's final montage. But how do you share the story of a person who lived more in 40 years than some do in a lifetime? Liv was more fit for the job than I. Storytelling was her forte. Though she would approve, this is not a Hindi film and we don't have time for a 4-hour saga. But I can share a glimpse of the person that she was, with help from my heart and from her own words. She was the heroine of our story, even if she didn't realize it. I was born a dreamer, closing my eyes, holding my breath, and always wishing the same wish. Every fountain penny and shooting star was for transcendental love. I believed that if I wished hard enough, it would come true. While others around me were dating, I held out for my one true love. I wasn't aware that there was another dreamer on the other side of the country who was making the very same wish. My soulmate was born a gladiator against the impossible. She was a life addict, fostering the ability to create an exceptional life despite insurmountable odds. When she was a child, her father would take her to the Toledo airport to stare out of the windows and watch the airplanes take off and land. That planted the seed for Liv to search for lost horizons. It was this nomadic beckoning that catapulted her into my world. When I was 19, Liv Adara Jones walked behind me in theater class, and that was it. I remember at that exact moment, knowing that she would be my first love and the love of my life. Liv was my absolute favorite everything. She was my biggest fan, my greatest accomplice to all of my crimes, and my savior when I couldn't save myself. Being a part of her universe made life epic. She was my whole world. Our life, our love, was always the most spectacular adventure and the greatest example of unconditional love. She loved with all of her being, saying that love should grow. It should be a reflection of yourself in everyone you meet, every place that you visit. That love is a torch unto this world to guide our path to new places and people who often burn with the beauty we fail to recognize in ourselves. She appreciated things that others took for granted and noticed that which was easily overlooked. She could take a particle of sand and create a pearl, believing that beauty and love resides within the imperfections. She was a visionary who showed me the world that lies between the lines. Liv wrote, "Every interaction can shape our destiny and gives each individual the power to change that which is around us, defined by no more or no less than what one is capable of imagining. From birth to love to death, we reach out into the infinity for others, hoping for a brief second that if we travel far enough, that we might touch another soul." For Liv, life was always about the journey, the adventure of living, the odyssey of existence. It was her quest to punch a hole in the wall of expectation and live a life with no regrets, doing good, loving more, and leaving the world a better place. My world will certainly never be the same without her. The fact that you are here means that at some point you were a part of her destiny. I used to tease Liv that having even a casual conversation with her turned into poetry. Now I'm grateful that she was so expressive, and I look to her words for comfort and advice. She once wrote, "When it all changes, you must change. Let go of those plans for the future, your expectations, and start again from wherever you are. No one gets the life they've planned for. They get the life they live." She was always the spark, igniting the path for others to live fully. Since day one, she convinced me to want more, be better, and push beyond my comfort zone. Why did I walk the entirety of Paris without an umbrella one rainy night? Because Liv flew us to Europe for my birthday. We shared one backpack and had exactly 24 hours in the city of love. She loved walking in the rain because it made her feel alive. It was contagious because that night we both laughed harder than I've ever laughed before. She gave me the confidence to hail a taxi cab in the middle of Tahrir Square at 4 a.m. in the morning during a revolution. She dared me to entice an entire boatload of tourists to shout and wave on a Belgian river, and kissed me in a guitar-shaped swimming pool. She convinced me to drink absinthe and dance on a tabletop in Cardiff, helped me wash an elephant standing barefoot in an Indian river, and brushed my hair out of my face on a cliff in Barry Island. Traveling brought Liv joy by constantly challenging her. I swear she got a high from the jet fuel fumes. She always told me that she felt the most at home amongst different faces and foreign languages. She lived full throttle, riding with the convertible top down in winter because the stars were bright and convertibles are cool. She was fierce. She would crank the music up till the speakers rattled, sing at the top of her lungs, and dance till dawn. As a daughter, she would secretly do things to help her parents that they never knew. She would go without eating just to give a friend who needed it her last dollar, and fed and befriended the hungry. She was the kind of mother who would take our children out at 2 a.m. on a school night for outdoor movies and burger challenges. On Chance's birthday, Liv filled the car with balloons and covered it with streamers to pick him up from school in front of all of his friends. She had Serenity believing in the Apple Bunny Fairy to surprise her with a trip to meet Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. As my wife and my best friend, she was always my partner, my other half. She would kidnap me for surprise picnics and leave notes on my car at the end of the day. She held my hand as our children came into this world and held my heart hostage the moment she said my name. Those in her life never doubted her love. I'm grateful for her love. Liv taught the kids and I valuable lessons. She taught us never to give up and to always chase our dreams. She taught us to be fierce, determined, and courageous enough to stand up for what you believe in. She instilled in us a message to love eternally with all your heart. She inspired us to relish every moment, savor every bite, and to conquer every impossibility. She proved to me that love, like in the movies, really does exist, and that wishes do come true. Teetering on the edge of every opportunity, it will always be her voice that I hear, whispering in my ear to go for it. As Liv came to the end of her pilgrimage in Santiago, she wrote, "I've met so many wonderful people these last few years from all around the world. Some you know you have to say goodbye to. Others you know who have scarred your heart and will walk with you for the rest of your life. To those who have touched me in that way, I refuse to say goodbye to. Instead, I'll simply suggest that I'll be seeing you when I see you." As for me, to my beloved, I remember a line from one of her favorite Shah Rukh Khan films. "Never say goodbye. Always say, we are traveling the love lane. Down the road we will meet again." Liv said that in the end, bucket lists are really about the same thing, benchmarks for existence, collecting life's moments inside ourselves for our final performance. If life, like art, isn't about all the wonderful joys, all the laughs, all the tears that we feel and experience, then what's the point? Because in the end, we all get the same 8.6 minutes to rewind the story of our life. She predicted hers, saying, "Mine is going to be a blockbuster."
Dear Liv, you came into our life in January of '77. Our miracle child. Doctors said we couldn't have any children. You were a seeker, traveling the world, always looking for the next adventure. I believe you're now with Jesus Christ. You were baptized with water from the Jordan River, the same river that Jesus was baptized in. You passed from this earth on Good Friday, the same day that Christ was crucified. So now I say goodbye, dear Liv. You were so loved. I will meet you in heaven someday.
It's easy to sing when there's nothing to
Things I learned from my daughter. Live every day like it's your last. Live fearless. Be your authentic self. Travel the world. Love all people. And these are some of the things that she was. She was a world traveler. She was an author, a writer, a dreamer, a seeker, a fixer, a giver, a student, a parent, and a child. Love forever, Mom.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said